Decorating at Westside Decorating Center. And a good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show. Brand new week for you. It is September 15th, halfway through the month already. And we have a busy day for you this morning. Later on after the 10 o'clock news, we're going to talk to a guest from the Humane Society of Midland County. At 11 o'clock this morning, Mindy McIntosh from McIntosh & Associates will be our guest. But we're going to talk about Medicare this morning, and we're going to do it with our friend returning for another visit from M-Care Choices, formerly Medicare Choices. He is Jeff Carrick. Morning, Jeff.
Hey, Art. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Are you scratching your head yet about Medicare coming up this year?
Well, there's a lot more changes coming for next year, and
ton of them.
Yep.
So let's start. Let's talk about some of them. First of all, I love the little contraction, ANOC. The ANOC letter, the annual notice of changed letters. When do we get them, and what are they going to tell us?
Normally, the ANOC letters, which is the annual notice of change, if you're in a current plan right now, it's what the benefits are going to be for 2026. And it's an opportunity for everyone to check their benefits to see if things are going up, it's going down, premium are increases, deductibles are changes, drug formularies, what's covered, what's not covered. And that letter will be coming out the last 2 weeks of September normally. I'm on Medicare myself. I haven't got my letter yet, but it should be here any day now.
Yeah, where'd you buy yours from? Never mind. So this letter comes out, and I mean, sometimes these things panic people. Is there a reason to be panicked?
I wouldn't call it panic, but if you want to make the best decision for 2026, it's best to compare, what your annual deductibles and all that are, and compare it to, other plans that are out there available to you. And the best way to do that is through Medicare Choices. We have a software system where we plug in your doctors, your hospitals, your medications, and some of your wants and needs in your Medicare plan. And it helps us guide us to what is going to be the best plan for you.
So let's talk for a minute about deductibles, because that's one of the things that we expect to go up as the Part B deductible, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes up for everybody.
Yep.
When that happens and costs increase for Medicare and for the traditional Medicare plans, what does that do to the Advantage plans? Do they have to adjust their costs?
Correct. Just so you know, the Part A that's your hospitalizations. That's the easiest way to understand it, overnight stays in the hospital. Your Part B deductible is, I call that everything else. That's your doctor visits, x-rays, labs, blood work, MRIs, CAT scans, emergency care, urgent care, outpatient surgeries where you go to the hospital, you're not admitted, you come back home. That's all part of Part B. In current year 2025, your Part B deductible is $257. And that Part B deductible for 2026 is going up to $288.
So for those of us that have Medicare and one of the alphabet soup supplements,
mm-hmm.
Those supplements are going to have to pick up that extra difference.
Correct, because as of January 2020, you can't get Plan F anymore, which covered all of your Part B deductible 100%, where you didn't have to pay anything. Where now the best plan, supplemental plan you can get now is Plan G, and that is subject to the Part B deductible. So in 2026, you would pay the first $288, and then the plan kicks in after that.
But those, just so we all understand, those of us with Plan F still have Plan F, and we'll have Plan F forever.
Yeah, it's your
as long as you want to pay for it.
Grandfathered in. As long as you keep paying your premiums, you can keep Plan F. It's just that it's not available to any new clients as of January 2020.
And what was the other deductible? Oh, the Part D drug deductible. That's going up too.
Yeah. Most of the plans have a Part D drug deductible, but it's normally only on not your tier 1s and tier 2s, but your tier 3, 4, and 5. You have
expensive drugs.
Your brand name drugs and specialty drugs have a deductible, and that deductible this year is $590, and that's going up to $615 for next year.
And what is Part D catastrophic covering? I mean, that's part of the drug plan, isn't it?
Correct. And I can tell you right now, I'm on Medicare, and I fall into that catastrophic coverage because of the expensive drugs that I take. And I know this year I hit the catastrophic coverage in June, and the catastrophic coverage, once you've had $2,000 worth of expenses, everything is picked up 100%. So the rest of the calendar year in 2025, right, for me, because I hit it in May, I had to pay nothing for my drugs for the rest of the year.
But next year, it's an extra $100 tacked on?
Yes, it's going from $2,000 to $2,100 in 2026.
Did anything go down?
I don't think so. You're starting to see, there's still a lot of zero premium plans out there available, but are
they going to be as many?
Not as many next year, because a lot of the plans are moving up to a premium. Some of them aren't, terrible, but like the premium was zero last year. It might be going up to like $35 a month year cost. So again, we're a no-fee service. Give us a call. Let us analyze your plan and check to see what's available out there and what's going to work best for you.
So let's talk for a minute about Advantage plans, because part of the lure, they were selling you a whole bunch of bells and whistles for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of extra add-ons and free this and free that and free the other thing. We likely to see a pullback of that?
Yes, some of them have pulled back for next year, and you see a lot of these articles on TV and the news in newspapers and stuff like that, where you can buy food, gasoline, help pay for your rent.
Yeah,
and Medicare Choices is an independent agency, and there's nothing that Medicare Choices can't do that anybody else can. So no matter what you see in those emails and so forth, there's nothing we can't do that they can. So there is absolutely no disadvantage of using us. But, and a lot of times those ads want to, entice you that, you got a food card that you can buy X amount of dollars every month buying food at whatever, Meijer's.
Yeah, and it gets reloaded every month.
Yep.
Well, how do they do that? I understand that they make their money because the government reimburses them.
Mm-hmm.
But is the government reimbursing them for food cards and stuff like that?
Well, what it is, it's an enormous amount. When you sign up for a Medicare Advantage plan, the federal government funds the health carrier, whether it be, Health Alliance Plan, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Priority Health, or whoever, Humana. They give them X amount of dollars every month, and then it's up to the carrier to decide on how much supplemental benefits they want to provide for their clients.
Well, it just seems to me that if they're providing all these supplemental benefits, they're getting more from the government than the health dollars they're spending.
Correct.
Because they got room to give out all this other stuff and still make a profit.
Right. Like I said, I'm a no-fee service. So if you come to me, you're not going to get charged for anything. I even get paid by the carrier through that X amount of dollars that the federal government gives the carrier.
That's your commission. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're talking to Jeff Carrick about Medicare and Medicare choices and all that stuff, and we will return with more. Let me take a moment, since we're talking about health. How about allergies? This was not a good year for those folks with allergies. And the folks at Quick Lane Freeland, next to McDonald Ford, understand that, which is why they sell a product called Frigifresh. It's a hospital-grade disinfectant for your car. Here's John to tell you all about it.
Frigifresh. Hi, John.
Medicare choices. So out of curiosity, we get the ANOC, the letter telling us that it's the window coming up and you can make your changes and what those changes are going to be. What if I totally ignore it? I'm Medicare. I got my Medicare plan, and I've got a supplement plan, and I got a drug plan, and I do nothing. I just ignore it. Get on with my life. What happens?
Absolutely nothing. The plan that you're currently in, it'll just automatically re-enroll you for the next following year. And
so you have to do something to make a change one way or another.
That is correct. And what the statistics show is like 50-50. The people that get their ANOC letters don't even look at them, and they get tossed in the trash can. But it only takes you a few minutes to take a look and see. It'll say your 225 benefit is this for 2025. Here's what it's going to be for 2026. And one thing to note is drug formulary changes. That's really big right now because of some of the expensive drugs that are in the market. Just because your drug is covered in 2025 doesn't mean it's going to be covered again in 2026.
Most of those, Jeff, though, are not tier 1, for example. Right? Most of those are 3, 4, and 5.
Correct. Yeah, those are your expensive drugs. Yep.
Yeah.
Your tier 1 is your generic drugs, and tier 2 is your non-preferred generic drugs.
You know, in a way, it's sort of like gambling. I mean, you're betting against yourself in some ways. I take 3 tier 1 drugs that are all zero copay drugs. That's all I take. That's it. Now, that's great this year. I have no idea what may or may not happen down the road.
Yep.
But what do I base it on? Do I base it on what I'm doing now? Do I guess what's going to happen later? I mean, it really is a crapshoot, isn't it?
It is. It's hard to guess, Art. You don't know what's going to come up in the next year.
None of us do.
Things can change. But one thing that you can do is during the annual enrollment period, which October 15th through December 7th, you can take a look at your plan and make a change so that if you start taking that expensive drug, you can actually, maybe get with a company that's going to cover it better for the following year.
Yeah, and you just don't know. You really don't know. But this is where a company like yours comes in. When somebody comes to you and says, Jeff, here's what I got, A, B, D, and plan whatever. What do you do? What do you need to know from that person so that you can make an intelligent decision as to what's available for them?
First of all, I'm going to want to know who your doctors are.
Because?
Well, you want to make sure your doctor's on in network, because if you go out of network, your copays are going to be a lot higher than if you stay in network. And there's been a lot of in-network changes in the Tri-Cities in the last 2 years.
Now that primarily applies to Advantage plans, right?
Correct. Yep. And the next thing that, besides your doctors is your medications. How are they covered? I mean, even in our software system, it will show you that, XYZ drug, this expensive drug is going to be covered this way, and here's what your cost is going to be for 2026. That way you know what to expect. And I've been reading a news article that was posted quite a few different times that they recommend, the news articles, using a Medicare insurance broker who doesn't work for just one company, but is independent and represents many carriers. And that's what Medicare Choices is. We're an independent company. We've got all the major carriers. So once we plug in your doctors, your medications, and so forth, and there may be other things, maybe transportation is important to you, or the over-the-counter medications, or the Silver Sneakers gym membership, or something like that. We can analyze that all for you to come up with the best plan for you. And a lot of times this can save you thousands of dollars in a year's time, based on that information. And it doesn't cost you anything.
Let me ask this, the difference, because there are so many of these things. When you talk about the networks, there's managed care, where they tell you who you're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
There's provider plans. What other kinds of plans are there that create these networks?
They're either HMO or PPO or what they call POS, where a PPO network states any doctor, any hospital that accepts Medicare. If you stay in network, you still you have coverage and at a lower copay. And if you go out of network, you still have coverage, but your copay could be a little bit higher. Unlike an HMO, if you go out of network, sometimes you have no coverage whatsoever. So say, for example, that you got a life...
But those policies are cheaper.
Yeah, a little
bit.
Well, I wouldn't say cheaper is the right word to use for it, because a lot of the HMOs and PPOs are zero premium. But the benefits can be a little bit better on HMO than a PPO because it's managed care and you have to go to the doctors that are in network. Otherwise, you might not have any coverage.
Yeah. That's scary.
I'm a PPO fan. I'll tell you that.
I would be too. I mean, it's just makes sense to me.
If I had a heart cardiac problem and it was a kind of a life or death situation for me, and I wanted to go to the best hospital in the United States, which I believe right now is the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio, I can go there with a PPO. And it might be out of network, but I still have coverage with a PPO, where an HMO, I might not have any coverage whatsoever.
So let's talk about copays for a minute, because, right now, for example, we'll use me as an example. I'll violate my own HIPAA. I have Medicare A and B. I have a Part D drug plan, and I have Plan F. I have nothing out of pocket, literally nothing out of pocket. If I went to an Advantage plan, how much am I going to have out of pocket?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you, Art, is you got to look at what are you paying for premium for your plan and your drug plan, and then times that out by 12 months.
Right.
Every Medicare Advantage plan has a max out of pocket. Now, once your premium for 12 months exceeds what the max out of pocket is on a Medicare Advantage plan, it's a no-brainer for you to switch to a Medicare Advantage. Because if the max out of pocket is less than the total premium that you're paying for the year, it's kind of a no-brainer to make that switch. And the Medicare Advantage plans have better prescription drug coverage than the independent standalone prescription drug plans.
Really?
Normally. Yep. And with the supplemental plans, they normally don't come with any supplemental benefits, such as, gym memberships, over-the-counter benefits, dental, vision, hearing, and so forth, where most of your Medicare Advantage plans do come with that coverage.
Really?
Even at a zero premium.
So someone like me who's still working, and in-house here, I have, for example, dental and vision. I can get rid of those because it's included in an Advantage plan?
Yes. The almost all your...
Are they as good as typical plans for business?
I would have to, sit down and compare them, but normally I would say, yes, they are better.
That's unreal.
Yep. And there's some changes. There's changes made this year to the dental networks too. Some carriers, they got Delta Dental, and they have Delta Dental has a PPO network and a Premier network. Some of the carriers cover the PPO network and not the Premier. Your dentist might take Premier, not PPO. Well, one thing they're doing good this year is because people don't want to change their dentist. And with that,
I don't want to change my doctor either.
Right. But you can do a dental buy-up for X amount of dollars every month and get the Premier Delta Dental network that might cover your current dentist.
All right.
So at least that option is going to be available next year.
We're going to take a break, and we will be back. We're talking to Jeff Carrick from M-Care Choices.
Gotta go.
Until October 15th.
And that period lasts until December 7th?
Yep.
Answer me this, then. Why, when that window closes in January and February, do we see all those ads for Advantage plans and stuff on TV?
People get confused.
Oh, yes.
The this is called the annual enrollment period, which we can submit applications October 15th through December 7th. Then, starting January 1st through March 31st, it's the open enrollment period. And that's a time period where people with a plan, currently with a Medicare Advantage plan, and all of a sudden they missed that window from October 15th through December 7th. They're not happy with the plan. They forgot to read their ANOC letters, and they're not happy with the plan for that year. It's a one-time opportunity to make a change.
So why don't they just leave it open then for the 5 months?
I agree. I agree.
Everything they touch has to be confusing.
Yep.
It just drives you nuts.
Medicare is confusing, and it would be very confusing for me also, but I do this every day. And Medicare Choices has 50 agents throughout the state of Michigan. My daughter Kylie and I train all 50 agents to get them up to speed and so that they can offer these Medicare programs. So basically we have to be the experts if we're training 50 other agents on how to do this.
So new increases in many of the premiums, right? We expect premiums are going to go up.
Yep.
Except there will be zero premium Medicare plan, Advantage plans, maybe not as many.
Yes, there's still zero premium plans out there. Absolutely.
But if I were to sit down and say, okay, let's look at all the zero premium plans versus premium plans. And I hate the word assume, but I'll use it anyways. It's safe to assume that most of the zero premium plans are HMOs?
Not necessarily.
Oh, really?
I think in 2025 we had at least 6 or 8 zero premium PPO plans. But one that was very popular, very, very popular for 2005, which I can't talk about the benefits because it's not October 1st yet. There was a zero premium PPO plan, and now for next year they're going to add a $35 a month premium.
Wow, but that's reasonable.
It is.
But it's a start, isn't it? It's the beginning.
There's something out there better than what that plan is. That was the best plan for 2025.
So, here's another question for you. Advantage plan from Company A, Company B, Company C. How different are they? The reason I ask that, the supplemental plans, my Plan F is the same as anybody else's Plan F.
Exactly.
G is the same, and all those alphabet soups are all exactly the same.
Coverage.
Because the government said, here's what they are. It's not true in Advantage plans, is it?
No. There's certain guidelines, and every health insurance carrier out there has to submit to the federal government, which is CMS, which is Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services, their plans for the following year for the federal government to approve them. But the federal government is approving what they come up with as far as plan changes for the following year.
They're approving it because they're going to reimburse. So.
Correct.
And are those changes usually significant, or are they minor details?
You know, it all seems kind of minor here and there, but you got to remember, you know, certain minor changes can save you thousands of dollars a year.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break and be back with Jeff as we talk about Medicare with Jeff Carrick from MCare Choices, and we will return.
Hi, this is Mike.
Hi, we're back with you in studio with me, Jeff Carrick from MCare Choices. First visit, I call MCare Choices. I say, I got to take a look at my health care plans. How long am I going to be spending with you that first round?
Well, it all depends on how many questions you have, but I can tell you a normal appointment takes about an hour, hour and a half. And just to let you know, we have an office here in Saginaw, but we take appointments all the time where we meet in the comfort of your own home, where you don't have to leave and go anywhere, or at a local coffee shop, whatever you prefer. So you have all those options available to you.
All right, you figure an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So if I come to you now, it's too early, isn't it?
I can't talk about any of the benefits for 2026 yet. Yep. So the best thing is to, give us a call now and set up an appointment. That way we can start sitting down with people starting October 1st. And even though that we sit down with you October 1st through the 14th, we can't put in an application.
But you could tell me what the plan is going to be.
Yes, I can. Yep, I can tell you everything. I just can't submit the application until October 15th.
And when you submit the application, so let's say here I am with my alphabet soup, A, B, D, and F, and now all of a sudden I'm going to an Advantage plan. On the 15th of October, you submit that application. When does that insurance go into effect?
They all start anything during the annual enrollment period, October 15th through December 7th. You submit an application, and it doesn't matter what day it is, they all begin on January 1st.
And in doing that, in you submitting an application for an Advantage plan, what happens to all my other stuff? Do you cancel that?
Well, if you're already in a Medicare Advantage plan, and
No, supplement.
If you're in a supplement, your new Medicare Advantage plan would start January 1st, but you do have to call and cancel your supplement so that you don't get rebilled for that.
Now, here's the issue, the other side of the coin. If I get rid of my alphabet soup and I go to you and I end up with a 0 premium Advantage plan and I'm fine with it, but somewhere down the road, a year from now, I decide, maybe I'm not as comfortable as I thought. Maybe I want to go back to what I had. Oops.
The federal government has what they call a free look period, and what that is for the first 12 months, when you switch from a Medicare supplemental plan to a Medicare Advantage, if you don't like it for whatever reason, no question to ask, and you want to go back onto the Medicare supplement, you can do that. Guaranteed issue.
Even if I had Plan F?
Even with, well...
Or were they going to put me on G?
You're not going to be able to go back to Plan F because it's no longer available.
Why did they take that out? Do we know?
Here's my theory. I don't know for sure, but I think my theory is pretty good, is Medicare was having a problem in the past with people that had Plan F, and all of a sudden they're sitting at home and they got a sniffly nose and they don't know that they don't ever have to pay for anything, so they're going to the emergency room for a common cold. So in order to save Medicare some money, they wanted you to have some skin in the game, that you would have to pay at least something when you did go to the emergency room.
Yeah. My skin in the game comes every month when I have to pay my premium.
That's correct.
That's my skin in the game.
Yeah, that's correct.
And really, for those that have Plan F, it's only as good as long as you pay that premium.
Correct.
Once you drop out of it, you're done with it.
Correct. Supplement plans, you can change from one company to another company, but they're almost always medically underwritten. So what does that mean? They're not guaranteed issue. They're going to ask you health questions, and you may not qualify unless you're in a guaranteed issue.
So because a third of this country is walking around with type 2 diabetes, is that a disqualifier?
No, I wouldn't say that's a disqualifier for a Medicare supplemental plan. It depends on kind of whatever the conditions that you have on top of that. And
okay.
They have some type of formula that they use whether they're not going to, issue you a new policy or not. But it is medically underwritten. I mean, if you have a Medicare supplemental plan and then all of a sudden you you have a heart attack, cancer, or stroke within the last 5 years, and you got to answer that health question, then most likely they're not going to take you for a new policy.